How's it going, friends? Welcome back to another video here with me, Arne. Today we're playing Blue-White Control in Standard. While I was looking at untapped tier lists and all of that, what is performing the first few days of Standard onto the stat page, I saw Blue-White Control was a deck that was updated that saw a lot of play. I mean, it makes sense. Blue-White didn't lose anything in the bannings. It was a deck before Mitchell Tamblyn went 8-2 at the most recent Proto with the archetype. And of course, not too long ago at Proto Aether Drift, I myself had a really good tournament with Blue-White Control. Yeah, so it makes sense that it's back. The first question that of course comes to mind, Jeskai or Blue-White, which one is better? I worked a lot on Jeskai in recent times, and for the Is It Cory Steelcutter metagame, I really did think Jeskai was better clearly than Blue-White. But now I'm less sure. I'm less certain about that. The format slowed down a lot. Hence making early game removal, like Lightning Helix, less important in the meta game, making temporary lockdown less important, although I guess Blue-White can also play with temporary lockdown. But yeah, especially the early game removal part, because that is the biggest weakness of Blue-White, always has been. That early game situation, that early game removal situation. Sure, you have the forget loss, but then it really gets worse from there. Elspeth, Smite, and Right's End are fine, but they are not great. They are conditional. Yeah, people can play around them and so on. So, but yeah, I mean, the metagame slowed down a little bit, and we'll see. Another reason why I was a bit unsure about Control, generally speaking, not even Jeskai, just also this, is that I thought that with all these like aggressive decks out, people can build their decks slower and like more with higher powered cards and with fewer cheap removal spells to keep in the game, because there's no Heartfire Hero into Manifold Mouse anymore. Nobody's killing you with Swift Spears or Slick Shots very fast anymore, right? So you can slow down your deck a little bit and put higher powered cards into your deck, which is kind of bad for Control. Control thrives in a metagame where a lot of people are targeting a certain archetype with, in most cases, it's like removal spells. Like if aggro is very popular, or aggressive creature strategies in general, that means everybody has to play a ton of removal, and then Control can come in and everybody has a bunch of removal and interaction in the deck, and it just is really bad into the Control deck, right? So now there's no aggro boogeyman anymore, so everybody has like more space to have a deck that is less targeted onto something, but more just has a wide array of interaction, logically speaking. None of that might be true or is true, but it should lean in that direction at least. So yeah, those are all reasons. And then Demia midrange, historically speaking, Kaito, Curiosity, cheap counterspells, cheap flash threads are pretty good against Control as well. So that all makes me a little bit skeptical of Control, but it doesn't take much to convince me to give it a shot. And here with this Blue-White list, I did make a really concerted effort to fight Demia midrange by just putting 4 Overlord into the main deck. Just no prisoners here. 4 Overlord in the main deck to beat Demia with this card. This is probably the best card against that deck, and I just want to make sure I can give myself the best chances. Noteworthy what is missing, of course, Beza is not here anymore. I relegated Beza to the sideboard. Yeah, I think Beza, very good into the red decks, very good into Izzet, very good into mono red. And it truly still has some good matchups in this metagame. May it be Cruel Delirium, may it be, even like any of the Marauding Mako decks, or something like Boros Mice or Boros Convoke. But I was thinking that those matchups might already be okay-ish for you, and the Demia matchup really isn't. And in the Demia matchup, it's night and day between Beza and Overlord. So I really just wanted to have the Overlord. For Normalize. Normalize is a very good card. Very good interactive card. So that is also a reason why, Control generally is good. Blue-White Control, Normalize, very strong 2-mana cheap counterspell. Elspeth, Smite, and Right Hand exile, so they're nice against Curiosity in that sense. Elspeth Smite is pretty solid against Dimir. It's a little annoying against Deep Cavern Bat when they get to see it and they get to play around it. Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna try it here as a 2-off. I might see myself going this very soon because I'm an Elspeth Smite hater, but you know, it might be okay. It's close decklist at least. Dreams of Laguna is a card I saw other people play. I'm gonna try it. It's sort of like a deduce, but at least it doesn't make a clue that can get swept up with lockdown, so there's no anti-synergy between the dreams compared to deduce and lockdown. And I mean, Surveil 1 is a difference. It is certainly a little bit better, and Flashback's not too bad either. So if they go for a discard spell, they can discard it, but then you still have the Flashback, for example. 3 steps ahead, very nice with the Overlords too, as and Marang region. You have like 7 powerful creatures you can use that second mode on to copy them in the late game, which, you know, could just seal the deal. 1 copy of Day of Judgment, 2 Lockdown, 2 Ultima. This is the split of sweepers. You have 5 of them in total. Sweepers are not that effective against Dimir midrange, as you know, they have Kaito, they have Curiosity, which is good against Destruction. So I just have 5 of them. In a different metagame, you might have more, want more. Also not super sure on the split, but the split seems reasonable. I mean, Lockdown is nice against early stuff. Day of Judgment is just sort of the best bread and butter, good rate. And then Ultima is able to exile Curiosity by ending the turn, essentially. The trigger will never go on the stack. And also blowing up artifacts. There's like Cauldron decks running around right now, and you know, just various other stuff. It blows up map tokens that you made with Get Lost. And importantly, against Dimir, it also stops them from casting or activating a sanctuary or doing anything after you cast Ultima, right? Like, they can't rebuild at the end of your turn. The turn just ends. So whatever they wanted to do, they can't really do at that point. So it's kind of nice against flash creatures, which is something that I didn't really consider when I saw the card at first. But yeah, it is pretty nice against flash threats. 1 copy of Elspeth. I'm not a big fan of this card, but every blue-white list seems to be running it. I think it's not that great into Dimir because they can just like fly over it and hit it. But 6 loyalty is a lot. I mean, for them to do 6 flying damage, it's a lot. So it's not that easy, but I can do it over the course of 2 turns. Anyhow, like, I don't think the card is very good, but I'm still going to try it. It kind of synergizes with these 4 Overlords, as that gives you this token plan. You can maybe buff all your tokens. And of course, if you have Elspeth out, you make 4 Overlord tokens, right? Because it doubles the token. Sort of like an Elish Norn would double the Overlord as well. And yeah, I'm just gonna run it. I mean, there's certainly gonna be matchups where this card is very good. Like, black midrange decks that don't have a lot of flyers might just die to Elspeth because they don't have removal for it. Although you could argue that because Kaito is such a prevalent thing in the format right now, that a lot more people will have access to Planeswalker removal just for Kaito, and that will weaken other Planeswalkers like Elspeth. All right, here we have a Meticulous Archive and Restless Anchorage. 6 taplands is a lot. I remember I ran 5 back in the days. Maybe that's a little bit better, to be honest. We still have 17 blue sources this way and 18 white. 17 blue should be enough. 3 Demolition Field, 1 Fountainport. This is a huge upside, of course. Like, the mana is the huge upside compared to Jeskai of blue-white, just having clean mana, being able to play Demolition Field and Fountainport. Demolition Field, I think, is excellent right now. Dimir midrange has a lot of manlands. There's a lot of decks with various amounts of manlands. And then against some decks that are very low on basics, like 3-color decks, like Jeskai Oculus has sometimes only 1 or 2 basics. You can maybe even cut them off white mana, for example. They usually do not have a plains. Stuff like that. So Demolition Field, just a great thing to have. Sideboard, 1 Destroyable, 1 Devout Decree. A little bit of a package, couple more counter spells, 3 Tidebinders. I think Tidebinder is excellent against Dimir. Mid-range post board, you could even argue to put it in the main deck in a Dimir heavy metagame. I wouldn't like fault you for that. 2 copies of Rest in Peace, another reason to run blue-white. Green-black Roots is I think good against Jeskai, but a lot less good against blue-white, as Rest in Peace is very good against them. And yeah, so that's a nice sideboard card to have against like the Delirium decks, against Vivi Cauldrons, Jeskai Oculus. Rest in Peace just looking better than it used to be in the past. 2 Beza for the aggressive decks, another copy of Day of Judgment, and another copy of Ultima. I'm not too sure about those slots. I struggle a little bit with the sideboard. I mean, it's always difficult to build control decks in a meta game that is a little bit unknown. So I'm starting to still get a feel for things and just, yeah, put in some extra sweepers for creature decks. I don't know, could also be a third lockdown, but I don't know how good lockdown even is in this meta game. And then last but not least, we have 2 copies of Jace the Perfected Mind. Mono white control, mono white tokens, whatever you want to call it, has picked up in numbers again. You know, another deck that, you know, didn't see any bans. Beanstalk was the nemesis of that deck, and Beanstalk got banned. So mono white control maybe ripe for a comeback. How do you beat that matchup? If you're blue white, you mill them out with Jace. That is the idea here. And then of course, if you play the mirror match, Jace is also going to be good. So yeah, 2 Jace in the sideboard. Yeah, that's blue-white control. It's very much related to mono-white control, to be honest. And there's certainly a discussion to be had if this is even better than blue-white control, mono-white control. As I don't know how important counterspells are right now in the format. But, you know, you can also argue the other way that, like, Stock Up, Normalize, Marang Regent, excellent cards, just on sheer power level by themselves, that really make it so that blue is good enough as a color to play instead of, you know, the Caretaker's Talent type engine. Yeah, all right. Well, I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to see if we can get paired into some of these Dimir decks and see if Overlord actually performs as well as I think it will. And also would be curious to get paired into like Vivi Cauldron and see how Ultima does and the various other things. All right, let's go. Okie dokie. Yeah, works by me. Pretty good hand. I mean, Stock Up is just a ridiculous card, so that's just something that Mono White doesn't have access to. Caretaker's Talent is very good too. They are comparable in a way. But yeah, Stock Up is certainly the faster of the two. Is this Mono White control? Could be a long one. Game 1 is definitely a slog. Wow, Elspeth Smite's terrible against Voice of Victory. As they can answer everything I have. This is interesting. Do I hold this up? Probably just need to make land drops. I'm kind of hoping for... I was hoping for Get Lost, but maybe I don't care that much. Because I expect them to cast a talent here. So it's either land and Overlord or land. It's kind of a nice curve to go Overlord into Elspeth. But also picking up the Overlord here seems nice. Just another power play, and I feel like the way I can win maybe quickly is by getting onto the board and then having 3 steps ahead up for a sweeper. That's maybe a good plan here. But yeah, my main deck isn't very well constructed for this matchup. I could see losing game 1 against this deck. I think I'm just going to cast the Overlord. Voice of Victory is an interesting new addition. Certainly very good in the deck, also very good against blue decks, but it does make you wonder a little bit about... I can just double block it now. It makes you wonder a little bit about the premise of the deck. The premise of the deck was usually that it just made cut down and go for the throat be blanks. And with Voice of Victory, you just give them a good target for those removal spells. It does synergize nicely though with the Enduring Innocence and Caretaker's Talent type cards. Okay, so I have 2 options. Overlord, hold up Elspeth Smite, or Elspeth. They might attack the Enduring Innocence. They really don't have a reason not to. So I could snag it with the Smite. But getting the Elspeth down seems very appealing too. They can get lost it right away, which I kind of want them to get lost my Overlords instead. This is really interesting. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with the Overlord actually. Overlord is such a busted card, honestly. It's so good. Like, paying 4 mana for 2/2/1 flyers is pretty good. It's not that bad. And then you just get that thing extra later on, which is ridiculous. Especially with the 3 steps ahead here. Like, I'm going to be able to maybe copy it. They should attack with the Innocence, right? 100%, yeah. Like, they didn't do it pre-combat, but yeah, that was a nice thing for me. Okay. So they also could have had Elspeth, by the way, right? But yeah, I mean, this is the turn where I have to play Elspeth. The question is just, what do I do with my attacks? Do I want to attack with everybody? Because if I attack with everybody, they could play Elspeth and kill my Elspeth. But then I could kill theirs. So it's maybe a fine trade-off for me. And I get 2 1/1s in the meantime. Well, they get just 2 3/2s. I guess that's fine by me. I can also attack first. Let's attack first and see what they do. They probably just block, honestly. Yeah. I'm like literally thinking way too hard about what could happen if they had 2 creatures in play, but the likelihood of them having 2 creatures in play there is just very low. Way more likely that they block. And then I don't have to play around like an Elspeth. And if they play Elspeth here, I can give my guys flying and kill their Elspeth. So they need Get Lost. Could have Beza to gain some life, sure. Stabilize and then Get Lost my Elspeth. Okay. Sure. That's to be expected. Okay, now we have... It's cost me 7 in total. No, 6 in total to go for the copy. So I can crack a map, right? It's cost me 6 mana. So yeah, I'll crack a map, I guess. Okay. Well, it's a little sus. If they're smart, they're gonna figure out that I have 3 steps ahead here. That I'm playing the plains over the Anchorage. A card that would be kind of annoying, I guess, is Get Lost, maybe. But we'll figure it out. I mean, the most... Yeah, I don't know. This is actually an interesting spot because I kind of only want to use this 3 steps ahead. I don't want to copy this right now, actually. I want to use it only on a sweeper, really. So maybe I should have played Anchorage there. They let me attack. I have 7, 8 mana. I have another Overlord. I could kill the Beza here to put... Everything dies. They're down to a Carrot Cake token and an Overlord. And then I counter their sweeper and copy my Overlord, and I have 3 Overlords. All of them attacking. But they also have an Overlord. They can chump 1 Overlord with like a Carrot Cake token. I think it's okay to go for the aggressive play here. I mean, that's certainly my advantage in this matchup, that I have 3 steps ahead and they don't. So I can mess with a sweeper and I can build like an Overlord board. Well, they cannot. They can never interact with me blowing up Overlords or sweeping the board, right? I can always reset freely, but they do not have that ability. Exactly. Do it on the untapped one so they can't Right's End. Alright, so this is a ton of power now. I don't know if they have lethal yet. I mean, okay, they just concede. Yeah, I mean, I planned this out well and it worked out exactly the way I wanted. 6, 12, 16, 18. I didn't quite have lethal, I think. I could have had, because I could have 2 turns ago I could have played this. Where yeah. Okay, cool. Lockdown seems bad. Smite, bad. Sure, it was good in that game, but I think that's a very corner case scenario. So let's take out all the cards that are sus. I think these cards are all kind of good. They all have their justification. Stravel's good. Stroke's good. Negate's good. Jace good. Tidebinder good. So that's 59. But I definitely do want some of these cards here. I definitely do want some of them. I certainly want Ultima. It exiles Enduring Innocence nicely. And it blows up Carrot Cake, I guess. Then there's also the Voice of Victory, but I do have 4 Get Lost for that one, I guess. And yeah. But yeah, I think I do want some more sweepers, but what do I not want is the question. I could trim Normalize, as the games tend to go very long. I could cut one of those. The Disdainful Stroke hits Overlord. It doesn't hit the talent. It hits Elspeth. The counterspells are a bit sus against those 4 copies of Voice of Victory. Same with Tidebinder, to be fair. Tidebinder is also a little sus. I don't know how good it is, but I should... Yeah, I think I should trim some of the blue cards for more sweepers. I could also trim an Overlord, but it was very good that game. I'm gonna cut a Normalize and play an Ultima. Sure, I think 2 Ultima is enough. I don't know. It's been a while since I played a matchup like this, so I'm not too familiar with how many sweepers you want, but I think 2 is okay. Sand is pretty medium. It doesn't have a way to interact for Enduring Innocence turn 2. Or a talent. I don't have a Get Lost, I don't have a 2-mana counterspell. I don't know. Tricky hand. Maybe it's a mulligan. It's a very certainly resource intense matchup. You kind of want to have land drops and all. Yeah, I guess I'll keep that. It is awkward against talent, but it is kind of decent against Enduring Innocence. It can shut that off at least, and it can counter an Overlord ETB. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, this is putting me in a position of awkwardness now. But at least it's not a talent. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe this was a mulligan. I don't know. But the Innocence is always going to be good. I kind of need... The Innocence is kind of annoying to play against, to be honest. From my side. Like, I don't really have great ways to kill it. They just passed the turn. Overlord of my own. I think I'm just gonna chill. What's the hand? The hand is gotta be... Oh, that's a good one. The hand has got to be a lot of slow cards. Well, if I blow up the port, they get to draw off the Innocence, but I guess so be it. I mean, I can't really sit around here, I think. That's actually not true. What I could do here is I could play a land, pass the turn, they go activate port. I blow it up in response and then cast Tidebinder, shutting off the Innocence. And then they can play an Elspeth or some crazy stuff, which I would not be happy about. Alright, I'll do it now. They get their token, they get their card. It's fine. The little incremental advantage, I think, is less important to winning the game for them than me preventing the Haymakers from hitting the battlefield. I think that's more important, so I should not care too much about card advantage. I should care more about, yeah, those important cards not getting on. I can also Ultima away this Enduring Innocence at some point. Let's take another free. They just pass again? No. Okay. So I have some options here. I can free steps, draw some cards. Or I can just Tidebinder that. Getting rid of that one completely is kind of appealing to me. As, you know, has a lot of value to it. But Tidebindering it is also very nice. Okay, I think I'm kind of talking myself into the Tidebinder move here. Counterspell's also not super reliable because the Voice of Victory. Like if the game goes long, at some point with like 7, 8 mana in play, they can just play a Voice and then resolve anything they want. Mm-hmm. 5 in hand. I wonder if I want to stock up or just like play it patiently and pass. I probably should stock up, to be honest. I can still hold up the counterspell. Negate is nice, and then just another stock up. Yeah, can't complain. And then at some point I have the ability to Ultima. Okay, happy about that. At some point I have the ability to Ultima away the board while holding up a counterspell. That's sort of what I'm working towards. I can take a little bit of poke damage here. You can see how important Demolition Field was. I don't want to play the Jace, I think. I could see myself casting Overlord here. The 4-mana variant. I don't want to play Jace because of Get Lost, I think. I could also just stock up and don't do anything else. I kind of want to Ultima when this thing is flipped into a creature. On that turn, I want to Ultima. So Jace is kind of optimal here to plus on the Innocence, but I also think they have more Get Lost. So my Jace would just die, probably. Sure, I think I'll just do this. I don't know. I could see going in multiple ways here. If this eats a Get Lost, I'm kind of okay with that. Looks like it will. Sure, same thing. I think Overlord is one of the best cards in Standard at this point. I don't have a Get Lost, so I think I'm supposed to counter that. I just want to cut them off card advantage at this point. As much as I can. I think I'm okay blocking the fish. I don't think I want to block the Innocence. Okay. Destroyable is nice. So is Overlord. So is Disdainful Stroke. I definitely want Disdainful Stroke because I'm worried about Elspeth. The other question is Overlord or Disdainful Stroke, I guess. I think right now this Destroy Evil, I mean, they already played 2 talents. Doesn't seem that important right now, I would say, but neither does the Overlord, to be fair. I could just go down the Jace route and try to mill them. I don't know. Overlord is just so powerful. I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna crack some maps here. Okay, Demolition Field, awesome. Crack another map. Wonderful. Attack. Pass the turn. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should have taken this Destroy Evil. Okay, so they get to draw 1 card there, but then Ultima is going to exile everything, essentially. Sure. Wonderful. Yeah, I think 2 Ultima is a good number. If the games go like this, then having 2 of them is a nice number. You could convince me that 3 is correct, but maybe you don't want to have the stroke. Stroke seems kind of nice in this long game situation. I'm just going to use the dreams. I know it's the surveil is wasted, but I'm just happy, you know, seeing more cards. Here it's interesting. So if I Ultima, I can't cast any other spell. I gotta be aware of that. But I don't think I want to cast any other spell either, because I can just Dreams of Laguna end of turn and hold up stroke. And I don't want to stock up, I want to hold up stroke. So yeah, that was just a game-breaking Ultima, of course. Do not have an answer to that. Innocence seems pretty good in the matchup. That is a keep. There's like 4 stock up in like the top 25. I cannot complain about my draws in this game. So I have 5, 9, 10 mana. I'm at 6 life, so I'm a little low. What is my best answer to this thing? I literally do not have one. I guess Tidebinder is my best answer, so I could try to find that. If I find that, I still have 4 mana up. I guess I'll just start with stock up, see what's up. I guess this also answers the Innocence. My hand is 3 cards. I don't know. Maybe this and this. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I kind of have to read that they have another Get Lost. So maybe I should start with Overlord and get the Get Lost out that way, but honestly I don't really care. Maybe they also don't have it. If they don't have it, then this is just pretty good. Okay, they just give up. Yeah. You know, I know I'm playing a little slow. Sorry about that, but I just want to, you know, find the best line, and I have the time. I mean, the clock is on 16 minutes. I just want to find the best line at all times, and yeah, this was pretty smooth sailing, I gotta say. Yeah, I mean, we just have more abilities of interaction, right? We just have with these counter spells, the blue cards, stock up is pretty broken. Like they can't, like I can get lost their talent, I can interact with their innocence, they are main card advantage sources, but they cannot interact with my stock up. Stock up just resolves. It just does its thing, right? And stock up is such a messed up card. One of the best cards in standard. Yeah, all right, sweet. Well, that was a pretty good impression so far. Play first. Yeah, I mean, I have the surveil land, I have the card draw. It's definitely not an A+ hand. But I have my early spell. I have this can fix me mana too. So it's a keep. It's not it's like pretty medium hand, medium minus almost. Demon Walls. I'm playing against Annex, you say? Okay. Well, I have Get Lost for that. Okay. The Get Lost, bit annoying with the wall, giving them tokens that they can then use to get the wall going. Alright, well, this is a little awkward. I don't want to catalog there, I think. I'd rather hold up Get Lost for something bad and mean. Yeah, okay, now I think I'm forced to catalog. Take this one. Yeah. Nope. And pass the turn, I guess. A demon wall. I don't think I should take this much damage. I would love to Ultima next turn, but I have the streams to find me that land. It's certainly optimal to go for that. Pretty awkward that I found free tap lands in this process. Just really awkward. Like, first of all, got unlucky with the 2 colors lands. Second, I mean, I kept the hand, I guess. You can't really say I got unlucky. But then just awkwardness with those tap lands. Take 10. If I don't draw the land, it's just pretty bad. Now they can resolve Annex and get me with that, so I'm kind of banking on them not having that one. I think they don't have it. I think they would have played it on turn 4, plus the map, you know. But there it is. Well, yeah. Well, there was the untap land, so I did that. I just yeah, got punched pretty hard for that one. That sucks. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I maybe should have just rested. Now I don't have the get lost, and it's really bothering me. They missed the land drop, so the hand is pretty loaded. Oh, I can wait a minute. I can shuffle away the Onyx, actually. Right, I didn't think about that. It's probably what I'm supposed to do here. They can choose to keep it, but that seems pretty ridiculous. Like, they could not shuffle. Okay. Okay, go to 6. So they play Unstoppable Slasher, I'm presuming now. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Well, yeah, think about things before you do them. I was like, yeah, play my land after I cast my spell. Yeah, I have to get used to playing with this card. Yeah. That was rather, yeah, a mistake. Happens. Unfamiliar. I really didn't play with this card too much, to be honest. We just identified, like, when we tried it, it just felt too clunky compared to Day of Judgment. You just had to be against, like, mono red and stuff. You had to be fast. And now I don't have Negate plus Elspeth, unfortunately, because of my misplay. Well, this is a matchup where Elspeth is probably good. They have like cut down. And if I had Negate, I could survive. That's pretty insane, actually. They needed land. They needed land, cut down to kill me there. That's stupid. Okay, fair enough. That annoys me a little bit. I just punted because of that Ultima interaction. And they also had exactly what they needed to kill me there. Alright, well, this would have maybe been a win, honestly. Like, if they go for that line there, I just negate their thing, then I make more tokens with Elspeth, play Marang, bounce their things, and have Stock Up as my last card in hand. I'm in a really good position. I'm at 6 life. They have 1 card in hand at that point. I just bounce both their guys, make more tokens. They have to rebuild. Then I Stock Up, find removal spells. That was a little bit tilting that I punted that. Oh well. This is certainly a matchup where I'd rather have Right Send than Elspeth Smite. Elspeth Smite is pretty terrible against Demon Wall. It's really just only good against Slasher. I could also see having more Devout Decree in the sideboard, to be honest. The Vivi, Cauldron, Mako decks, they have a lot of red creatures. And then Demon decks have red creatures. The thing about the card, I don't think it's that good against Dimir, because Dimir is cutting Shieldred and Preacher recently. And they basically just have like only Kaito, maybe Cecil. So it's not that good against Ymir. Jace is pretty good against Slasher. Tidebinder, Negate, Disdainful Stroke. Demon Wall is pretty bad into sweeper effects. You kind of have to like commit the card and then I can sweep you. Okay, I have too many cards. I have a lot of sweepers. Maybe it's too many sweepers. Maybe shouldn't have all that many. I'm really pissed that I lost that game. It's okay. I'll forget about it. I mean, just, whenever you lose games that you shouldn't lose, just nagging feeling. I could cut one Overlord. I like the card. Could cut the Negate, the free steps. I don't know. I'll cut an Overlord. I'm not sure. Maybe Marang is not that good here. Marang is a little worse against decks that have Go for the Throat, I guess. That game was not a loss, seriously. Stupid. Also, it's forbidden to play. It's not forbidden, but these type of decks are not good into Demir midrange. They're really bad into Demir midrange. Kaito and Curiosity are just an absolute beating for them. And all your expensive demons die to Go for the Throat and get embarrassed by Floodpit's Drowner. Especially Archfiend of the Dross is just an unplayable card into the face of Floodpit's Drowner and Kaito. So literally a liability. I mean, that's fine. I'm just going to play Jace and draw some cards, I think, yeah. Jace is pretty good in a situation like this. I guess milling them... mill 3 creatures. Milling them makes... Gix's command better, but I don't care. Gix's command, whatever. They might not have that. They might have it. I don't know. A lot of sweepers. Glad I cut one of them at least. Okay. That's pretty effective. So, Annex by far and away the best card in the matchup, of course. Certainly smart of them to draw multiples. Okay. Sure. But yeah, I don't know, like, they have to combine it with, like, duress effects to really get me. And as soon as I start blowing them up, it's not very good for them. They also kind of die. They would have taken 4 damage there. I'm helping them. You just take 2. Not that problematic of a situation. So they have removed with Jace. Okay, sure. The end. Yeah, that's fine. Shuffling my library is not fine though. Maybe I should have Dreams of Laguna in response. Yeah, I kind of clicked a little bit too fast there, didn't I? I should have probably Dreams of Laguna in response and taken the stock up into my hand because I'm out of gasoline here. That is annoying. I could Anchorage attack to dig a little deeper. I probably should. Guess. Self-destruct? What the frick? Deals X damage to any target, X damage to itself. What is the combo of that? I don't understand. Does it work with Slasher? No. It works with Bloodletter, I guess. You can double damage. You can like sacrifice a demon and deal 12. I guess. Yeah, I can certainly lose this game. The double annex was a little too much. I need to find a Get Lost desperately. That's the upside of having something like Shiko, Paragon's Way in your deck. You can just flash back your Get Lost and blow up another annex. And blue-white is more reliant on drawing them naturally. Okay. I guess I'll just play Elspeth and kill the demon. They discarded the demon wall. They didn't even want to play another creature. I mean, I guess they know my hand. Makes sense. Knowing my hand, that does make sense. Okay. Well, that deals me 4. They're slowly draining me away with this annex. Without this annex, this game would have been so easy, by the way. I mean, easy peasy. It's really just the annex that drew like 6 cards this game that makes this competitive. There we go. There's the answer, finally. Do I want to use Ultima? Because it's more expensive. Ultima kills this forever, so I probably should not use Ultima. It's nice for my next turn that I can go Day of Judgment, sweep the board again, and then go Overlord, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'm going to go Ultima, but then I can't activate this, though. Alright, well, then I go for that. Right. Okay. A little bit of a back and forth there, thinking all the lines through. I'd like to destroy that. It drew you 1,000,000 cards. Let's see if I can still win against your 7-card hand. I mean, I'm gonna make 4 tokens with this Overlord. If my Elspeth lives. That's pretty good. It's not good if they have Archfiend of the Draws plus a Gix's command. Then I would die. I found another one. Okay. Fair enough. My next turn is pretty good though, so. Ooh, that's nice too. Huh. No, I'm not so sure anymore what to do. I mean, making an army of tokens gotta be the play, right? The question is, do I want to cast it as a creature, or do I just want to make the tokens? I think I just want to cast it and leave up one of these spells. Like, sorry, I want to just impend it. I mean, yeah. I think the 6/6, like, I presume that one of these cards in their hand is a go for the throat. They played that a little too fast. Do they have Gix's command? Just cheesing me out here. Nice. Same thing, I guess. Yeah. Okay. I lose 8. And then I jump block and lose my last life points. I don't know. I think this is a favorable matchup. I think in game 1 I punted by not playing my Seachrome Coast before Ultima. And I also made the judgment call to not go for the Ultima on turn 5. Because I also drew poorly with the 2 Demolition Field missing land drops, drawing tap land after that. So like a lot of things happened that I was not able to win game 1. I think in game 1 you're a pretty big favorite against a deck like this because the only card that matters that is not totally embarrassing against you is Annex. Everything else is just like expensive, clunky creatures. It's super easy to beat that with stock up and removal spells and rafts. So it's like an easy peasy matchup in game 1. Postboard is a little bit more interesting because they have more ways to push through. They have more duress and so on. But in the end, it really is just Annex that matters. And yeah, I mean, they had 2 Annex going for a long time. They were able to take a counterspell out of my hand, and I had a bit of a sweeper-heavy hand, which, yeah, my composition of my hand wasn't great, and then they were able to finish me with this weird combo stuff, which, you know, if I had a negate at one point, and yeah, I mean, whatever. I feel like this is a very good matchup. Me losing 0-2 against this demon stack is not a good indication of how this matchup usually goes. Okay, this sounds reasonable. I do wonder if it's maybe a little bit too many card draw effects, too many slow cards. Maybe you just want 2 Marang River regions if you play the 2 Dreams. Play a 2-2 split. I feel like with the Overlords, the Stalk-Ups, the Marangs, the Elspeth, the Dreams, it's a lot of air cards, kinda. Is this the mirror match? Probably. Okay. Blue-white mirror. Oh, Mistrise Village. Okay. Demolition Field. Fountainport, make fish is also a nice line. Probably just want to make some fish. Am I playing against Omniscience? I think I am. Okay. Could be a Overlord-based scroll shift version of blue-white control, but that's counterable. It's very appealing to counter that one. Now Omniscient, like the repair recharge costs 5 mana, right? They have 5 mana reanimates. So if they have Roiling Dragonstorm here, they can play it. They have a Normalize. This is probably not a good match. Like, it used to be a terrible matchup before the bannings for blue-white control, so I suspect it's a really bad matchup. Like just again. I don't, like, sure they're slower, but in this matchup that doesn't really matter too much. But Omniscience, and that's the funny thing, was atrocious against Demir midrange before the bannings, right? When they had a Boiler's Awakening, when the deck was way better. So like now that Demir midrange is like 30+% of the metagame, the best deck in the format, to convince yourself with repair and recharge to play Omniscience, you gotta have some guts to do that. You gotta have some guts. But you know, it's the ladder, it's not a tournament. People don't really think it through, maybe. People don't care. People maybe invested their wildcards into the deck beforehand, and now they kind of just want to concede. Like, my deck is full of shit cards. I have a few counterspells. They're going to be able to set it up in a way where I'm not going to win. Yeah, where I'm not going to win. Where I'm just going to get destroyed. My hand is also pretty bad right now. Yeah. Whatever. I don't need to see more. Like, this is not winnable. This is just not winnable. Not in game 1, at least. Postboard, probably also not. Like, their deck is just so good against blue-white control. But we can fight. We can fight. We can try our best. And maybe with some luck, get there. Okay. Yeah, you want some sweepers, because postboard, they often go into this Overlord grind plan. Yeah. I don't even know how good Jace is. I mean, I presume Jace is fine. Tidebinder is pretty good. I guess I have too many cards. Dreams of Laguna is a non-buff with Rest in Peace for what it's worth. But I think it's still good enough. Maybe I don't want the Day of Judgment. So one too many cards still. I could not play the Elspeth. Yeah. I just... Having some haymakers is nice, I think. But maybe tapping out shouldn't do too much of that. Alright. Problem is Cavern of Souls too. Like they can just play Cavern, cast Overlords. Like their deck is fantastic against blue-white control if it's similarly configured as it was in the past. It's probably like one of the maybe the worst matchup for blue-white in the entire format. It's like a 75% matchup, I would almost guess, in favor of Omniscience. Don't think I want to play Rest in Peace proactively like that. Against Omniscience, you kind of want them to bin the Omniscience and then start playing it. I don't want to play Jace here into a Spell Pierce. I'm just going to play as if their list is... Well, they showed me game 1 normalize. I guess their list is a little different than the list in the past. That's one. I have to counter that one. Normalize, okay. Fairy Mastermind would be nice to have. Like, it's just... I'm not even gonna... Like, I worked on this matchup a lot. See, this is exactly what I mean. I worked on this matchup a lot for the Pro Tour, right? From the Jeskai side, I, like, found so many ways of, like, how to improve the matchup, yada, yada, yada. But at this point, like, come on. You cannot justify at all playing the Omniscience deck in the metagame. So I don't want to change my deck for it. I don't want to change any of my sideboard cards or change any of my plans with this blue-white control deck when Omniscience is so bad into this metagame. That doesn't make any sense. So this is just a fluke. I'm just treating this as a fluke. We just got unlucky to get paired into it. That's it. Kind of thinking maybe normalize. I kind of want to tap out for Overlord here. Yeah. I could see Jace too, but might this game, like, Jace is a way I could win both Jace down the line, you know, thinking very much ahead. Where I could just, you know, mill them out, I guess, maybe. But yeah, I mean, Omniscience now also has to play less of the defensive cards that they had to play in the previous ones. The deck is likely even better against control than it used to be. This is very sus. Makes me think they have a counter spell. Just gonna pass the turn. I can blow up the cabin at some point. I think I'm just gonna Marang though. I need to make land drops. This is too important. They will counter it, sure. Worst case would be Spell Pierce plus a Marang of their own. That would be pretty rough. Okay, just that for now. I mean, maybe they have Spell Pierce too. Okay. It's a lot of lands. I don't need that many. Omniscience in a bin. So this is a perfect moment to play Rest in Peace now. Yeah, and then just pass the turn, I guess. I could resolve Jace. Theoretically. I don't know if that's a good idea though. I think I'd rather just, like, if I go Jace, they could go Marang, bounce my Overlord, my Jace, something like that. That wouldn't be nice. It's annoying that I haven't found a Get Lost yet. I do go for the Marang. But I have the Tidebinder that at least can mess with the Overlord. And here I could theoretically play Jace to minus on the Tidebinder. Sorry, to minus on this. So it can't attack even into this. They showed me normalize, so my Tidebinder might not resolve if I go for the Jace play. 5, 7. Could go for Marang to build tempo. It's not crazy. Could also draw cards from Marang. If I find Get Lost, I'm gonna be a happy man. The difference when you don't draw stock up. These games always feel harder when you don't draw stock up. Tough spot. I don't know what to do. Frick. I'm just gonna cast it. I don't know if that's correct. I don't know. I would rather, I guess, found a Get Lost and drawn 3 cards. But I don't have a guarantee that a Get Lost is here, right? And if I don't find a Get Lost, I have to pass the turn. I have to Tidebinder at that point, which also not great. I also have to be aware that in 2 turns, they can just hardcast. Nice. Oh, let's go. They can hardcast an Omniscience to finish my sentence. Okay, I do want to do that, right? Yes, let's go. 2 Jace now. Okay, they have 39 cards in their bib. That is a plan. The other option is to take Overload and go that route, but I have already so much pressure on board. If I play Jace and plus it, I will have 18 mil, which means they go down to 21, then have 15 mil with the second Jace. Yeah, I mean, I figured whatever. I'm just gonna go that route. Oh, I cannot cast Jace right now. I thought I had 6 mana left over, but I don't. Well, then I'm just gonna hold up Tidebinder, I guess. Okay, well, playing the Marang worked out because I drew a stock up that found me a Get Lost. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I played this matchup a lot with Jeskai, which, you know, it's similar, right? Like, you play a lot of the same cards. I also had 3 Overlords and 2 Marangs in my Jeskai list. And I did start, like, when you can cast Marang in those post-board games, especially if you have a graveyard hate piece in the deck already, it does often make sense to do so. I felt like when you were like thinking, should I draw 3 and discard 1? Should I cast 6, 7? I often, in the end, after the game, was like, yeah, it was good to cast a 6, 7 in that spot. That was the takeaway from, you know, playtesting the match a lot with Jeskai. Okay, Negate stops the Omniscience from resolving next turn. Okay, wow, what's going on? They have no instance, so they're just sitting on a bunch of counter magic. I guess then I'm just gonna pass. I guess I could have played 1 Jace. 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Then I still have these 2 up. Yep, that's... I mean, I did really top deck very well here. I needed this Negate pretty badly. I guess if I didn't draw the Negate, I might have just cast these Jaces, mill over 30 cards, then they're down to 5 cards, and then they might not be able to Omniscience kill me, right? Because if I mill a bunch of their combo pieces and just mill over the entire deck, they might not actually be able to win. Okay, we took a game. Still think this matchup's pretty bad. But yeah, we did take a game. I guess the Elspeth is another removal for like the big creatures. We were kind of lacking that. We only have 5. Tidebinder didn't look too hot there. I could trim like a Negate maybe. It's just so bad into the Overlords, but they also do have stock ups. Could also trim and normalize, play Elspeth. I don't know. Maybe. Having like another removal for these guys would be nice, but Elspeth is a 5 mana option, so it's pretty bad into counter magic. Just having like a second destroy evil, maybe an exercise. Alright, sure. I mean, this hand is not great, but if I draw lands, I'm gonna be happy to have kept. No Dragonstorm. No. Yeah, that's nasty. Cavernous. Again, this matchup's 75-25. I still stand towards that, even though we took a game. Same thing against demons, right? I said the matchup is very good for blue-white. I stand for that. Sure, I lost 0-2, but that doesn't mean like Magic is a game of variance. Magic is a game of only because you lose, that doesn't mean the matchup's bad. Only because you win, that doesn't mean the matchup's good. It goes both ways. There's a lot of variance, and that's why observing the games. This is just a nuts curve. If this would be an untapped land, I would be fine here, but no, I'm pretty dead. Now I have to draw a land for my own Overlord. If this would have been an untapped land, at least I would have been in the game. I mean, I drew the untapped land now, but like if this would have been earlier, I would have, been really in the game. Anyways. Again, I expect to lose this. I don't make any illusions about that. I'm gonna try my best, but I do really expect to lose this. Yeah. Play a bunch of creatures that 2-for-1 that are uncounterable. It's pretty unbeatable. My hand was good if they don't have Cavern, right? Or if they go like turn 3 stock up. They had Cavern, they had Overlord, GG. I took a little bit of a risk there, keeping this hand, but it could have gone, like, I could have maybe won this game if they had no Cavern, right? And I just counter the Overlord and it doesn't spiral out of control from there. They don't have an instant. That's very telling about their hand. Their hand has to be very weird. Like, either it's a bunch of counter spells and a bunch of sorcery speed cards, right? How many do you have, bruh? Be real. Normalize. No. They don't want to map, so they obviously have a 2-mana counter spell here. Yeah. Used to get lost already. Kind of had to. Now this guy kills me. Yeah. There's too many of these guys. They're really good against blue-white, and I don't have She-Code to flash stuff back. I guess I could have a Day of Judgment maybe in my deck. Maybe this Jace card is too ambitious. Maybe this has to be Day of Judgment, at least when I'm on the draw. I could see that. I could definitely see that. No, I'm just kind of toast. I guess I can copy my own Tidebinder. But I do think they're sitting on like a Negate or something, right? I guess what I could have done is I could have played Jace plus on this. Are they gonna drag me? I think Dragonstone's a good one. Yeah, I could have Jaced with the Phyrexian mana as pay 2 life plus here, and then they probably go counterspell, then I go counterspell back. I don't know. The issue really is that this was another tap land. Maybe you have to reduce the amount of tap land. Like if this wouldn't be a tap land, I could at least copy my Overlord with normalized backup. But now I don't have a backup. Now I'm just I can try to copy my Overlord, but it ain't gonna work. That's the issue here. Just too many tap lands, too many missed land drops. And the Omni deck is better at making land drops than my deck. They have like Rolling Dragonstorm, these Overlords. This is gonna get countered. If I had Normalize, I could at least draw out a counter spell. I don't. GG. Yeah. What to do? Take 15. Yeah, I feel stupid. If this Jace would be a Day of Judgment, I maybe have a shot. Anyways, I mean, it's not stupid. I think my assessment of the situation was okay. Now I play Marang and it gets countered. Very, very likely, but I don't think I have a choice. Yeah. I just had no moves this game. The tapped Anchorage, the tapped Seachrome Coast both cost me the game. If I was able to use the Normalize at least instead of the Seachrome Coast, if this would be an untapped whatever, I could at least draw out the Normalize there, right? And then I can resolve the Marang, bounce these two, and sort of claw myself back into the game and actually have a chance. If I resolve my Marang here and bounce these two, they're kind of falling behind against my board. I have the first Overlord attack again. Or if this would be a Day of Judgment, I would maybe be able to stabilize. Not saying I would win that game, but at least I would be able to stabilize. GG. Temporary Lockdown still on the deck. That's kind of wild, but I guess whatever. Yeah, bad matchup. Got unlucky in game 3. Maybe the takeaway is to have Jace to have Day of Judgment instead of Jace. And then another takeaway is to try to remove as many tap lands as possible from the deck, as they really just mess you up. So like Adarkar Wastes number 2 maybe over Seachrome Coast. I think Adarkar Wastes is a little bit better now, as it's less aggressive of a format, so you can afford to play Painlands more. So a second copy of Adarkar Wastes probably. I will make that change. All right, well, I mean, yeah, blue-white control. We did lose twice, but I mean, once was against the absolute worst matchup ever, which is not a playable deck anymore in this format. So that one is somewhat ignorable. And then the other loss we had was against Demons. So also a pretty unlikely thing to happen there, where I punted with the Ultima and then just got kind of unlucky in game 2. Yeah, but this deck feels nice. I didn't get paired into blue-black mid-range. I'd be curious to see that play out, but it could, I don't know, it could be okay. I could see it being surprisingly decent with 4 copies of Overlord in the main deck. I'm literally pretty bored against the matchup. I mean, that's why I think it could be okay. If you don't do that, it's probably not that great. So, but yeah, I mean, Overlord is a really powerful card. It's a strong card in itself. And it's good in multiple matchups. And now with Monstrous Rage gone, these 2/1 tokens actually block stuff. And, you know, you don't just die when you cast this for 4 mana and then they go Monstrous Rage on Ember Challenger with a Manifold Mouse giving double strike, right? So that makes this card, I think, one of the best cards in Standard, and also contextually how the format looks right now with Dimir being the end boss. Overlord seems just fantastic. Yeah, so I do think this deck has a lot of promise. I'm not sure, maybe you want to have 2 of these, not sure about the Dreams. Elspeth might maybe have another Right's End. Elspeth's not a lock. I feel like the Sweeper split is definitely a question mark still. You know, I think this configuration of the deck is something I still would suggest going forward. But yeah, that's about that. Okay, thank you so much for watching as always, and see you in the next one, guys. Take care.